I need some help choosing a camera setup for 2025 or beyond that, ideally. About me, about myself, I would say I'm semi-professional. I know how to work a camera. I get paid sometimes, but it's not my full-time gig. Mostly I get paid for video. Rarely I get paid for photos, but I do enjoy photos as a whole more. I would say I would spend more time on that for fun. I do love making documentaries though, which is why I chose the Lumix S52X as my main camera very recently, which is a long story how I got to that. As you can see on my channel, I said I would not update to that camera, but I basically traded an original S5 for the S52X for barely any extra money. I will make a video on that. It's actually a crazy story. Anyway, so I got this S52X. I'm happy with it. It's pretty much perfect. I recently got the 24 to 105 again, which is amazing. I used it on a wedding. I barely had to switch lenses and I got all the shots I needed to get. For documentaries, this would be the best setup I can imagine. And I would not want any other camera, to be honest. I don't want anything larger. I don't want to get a Sony A7S or something like that, just because I'm really a big fan of the stabilization. I think that that's the reason I would choose Lumix over other brands for video in general. But, like as an only camera, it's too big, especially with that lens, and for photography it works well, it looks great, it looks better than most other cameras I've used so far. Autofocus is great, like there's no problems with it other than it's fairly big and it's not that practical. It's not a lot of fun to shoot photography with. I'm not the biggest fan of the flip out screen. Yeah, but it's basically just a size issue, I would say. And I mean, maybe the lenses I have at least are not as fun and not as diverse. I have the 18mm 1.8 and the 50mm 1.8. Yeah, those are the two lenses. Or three with the 24 to 105. But the 24 to 105 I would not take out casually for photography work. I would not bring that setup in my little swing bag. So that is an issue if I would only have one camera. Then another lucky incident, which I didn't think would happen, is that I could pick up an M262 for fairly cheap. Which lucky has a bit of a weird thing on the screen, on the back, which maybe I should close up of. I have no lens for it yet because the camera I thought I would go with, which I bought maybe 5 days before, which is a bit unfortunate, was the Panasonic S9, which I thought would alleviate my S52X problems. At this point, I only wanted one camera and one camera only. With the 20 to 60, bought it as a kit, display model, Black Friday deal. I think I picked it up for a good deal. And I knew how the image would be. I knew that I would like the image. I knew I wouldn't like the flip out screen. I knew I wouldn't like the only mechanical shutter. And I knew that it would not work with a larger, more professional lens. But I thought, like for non-paid projects, it would be fine. And I would still be able to do documentaries, basically how I would like to shoot a documentary, while making sure my audio sounds good by pressing the replay button and listen to it, which not ideal, but again, I think I could work around that. So that would be a good deal. Another reason why I bought this from a camera shop, I could trade in my Leica lens, a 50mm the 50mm Summicron version 5. So basically I hardly paid anything for the body and the lens. But yeah, then 2 days later I got this for the same price than I got a S9, basically, which is probably unheard of, only because of the screen issue. I always wanted to have a Leica. I never tried a rangefinder, so obviously maybe I should have tried a cheaper rangefinder film camera. I like to shoot film, that's a whole other issue. But yeah, I like the M system, I like the small lenses. I thought I would be able to use M lenses on, my actual idea was I keep the S9, sell everything else, would have the money from which I spent on the Leica M262, and I could buy M lenses and maybe in the future get an M mount film camera. Like a CL, something small, CLE, or a Leica M3 would be probably the camera I wish to get at some point fairly cheaply. And then I would have a film rangefinder and a digital camera that could use the analog lenses and would be amazing for video and good enough for photos and fun to carry around. That whole fun to carry around, that's where I really am stuck from beginning of the year, I would say. From the last year, that I'm not taking out my camera as often anymore. Which, yeah, sucks if you don't use the expensive gear you take. It looks like I have a lot of money by having those 3 camera bodies right now, but yeah, I wanted to have only one. My idea was to have only one, have enough money to buy a motorbike again, and go on a trip to use that camera gear. All the pictures I like the most were basically taken on a trip. Hardly any of them are from the area I'm living in. Yeah, which, I mean, if you want to use your camera, I think spending it on a trip, spending extra money on a trip instead on gear is probably the smartest thing to do. But yeah, also it's smart to sometimes make money with your gear, which then of course you would need a S5 IIX. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I would like to have only one camera, ideally. I think that's like one film camera, one digital camera, and one analog camera. I thought that would be ideal, but yeah, I got lucky with that really amazing digital camera. I thought I'd sell my professional setup, the S5 IIX, with all the pro lenses, or with the pro lenses with the 1850 and the 24-105, and get only small lenses and M-mount lenses for the S9 as planned, and still use the Leica M262 and see how I go with it. And if I really enjoy it, obviously that's what I'm gonna keep, and maybe I'm not gonna get professional work anymore, or I can use that for semi-professional stuff still. Yeah, that was one idea. Or I really downsize my S5 IIX, only keep the 24-105, get the S9 back. Hopefully the shop would take it, or I have to sell it on a second-hand market for a loss, most likely. Keep only the 20-60 that's currently on the S9, and a 50mm, which is what I used with the original S5 for most of those pictures in the background, which was a good enough setup. I should have listened to myself and not update. Yeah, have that and the Leica for a while, see if I enjoy it, take good photos, take it out more often, or yeah, sell that again and get a film body as planned. And I mean, I shoot 1 roll of film in a month, which may be also a bit silly to buy an expensive film camera, and shooting more film would also just be a bigger expense, which would be not beneficial in the long run either. If I want to save money to go on a trip or use a motorbike again, have a motorbike again, kind of getting a motorbike is almost a priority. Similar than going on a trip would be lovely too. It's been a year, more than a year now that I left the country. Yeah, would be nice to see something else, different scenery. I'm in Australia, so everywhere you go, but you have to go far to see something slightly different, which is barely different, unfortunately. It's beautiful, but barely different. Yes. If I would travel, would I take the two cameras, the S9 and the Leica? Would I take the S5 2 or 1 or X and the film body or the Leica? I don't know. I would, yeah. Let me know what you think. Maybe you can help me. Maybe if I hear your ideas, I can just do the opposite. I'm not really pulled in any direction. Yeah, it's weird. Got all the things. I should be fortunate and lucky, but yeah, I can't keep all three of them, obviously. It's not an option. Probably I should not even keep more than one, but yeah, I still film. I still like to shoot. If I would go on a holiday trip, I would definitely not just bring the Leica. That would be crazy, and I would be scared the whole time to break it, lose it, or have it stolen. And yeah, I think for a lot of scenarios, like I would not be able to film. I'm not shooting on my phone. I'm not filming on my phone. I'm not using my phone as a camera. That's not an option if someone has that idea. Yeah, see if I can cut that down. If there's any other options, I used the GX9 last year too. I really enjoyed it, but it was not completely fitting what I wanted to do. Nikon, obviously, if there's a cool single or dual camera setup, that would be awesome as well, but generally the models I'm looking at are more expensive, or the lenses I'm interested in are almost impossible to get fairly cheaply around here. Yeah, let me know what you think. Should I keep the S5? Should I keep the S9? Should I keep the Leica? I could get rid of the Leica right away and go on a holiday. That's obviously an option. I would not have to buy M-mount lenses, so that's not another expense that would come here. I could keep the S9 and the S5 2X. That would be the sensible idea, and maybe push a little bit my videography and photography business. Yeah, which I don't think I will get more professional work necessarily, unless I lose my 9-to-5 job, and I would have to, which I'm not so sure if I want that. Yeah, I know it's very rambly. Maybe someone can help me. I'm not sure if I have enough B-roll to overlay all my talking. Should have wrote it down. This one's not scripted. Would like to make more YouTube videos, but I don't like to be in front of the camera. That would be another reason to keep the more high-end digital ones. Even though my buddy is forcing me to film more and make use of it. Oh, maybe all the audio is fucked and I have to record it again. Don't even know how long I've been talking. 13 minutes. That would be more reasonable enough video. Boring as hell, maybe. No. If anyone has any suggestions or something then completely different to what I'm thinking, as I said, motorbike, camera, trip. I think that's the priority. I don't have a motorbike right now. I actually swapped my motorbike for a Leica Q, which I obviously sold right away, which was a fun camera, but not as fun as it could be, not as practical as it could be for the price. Yeah, let me know if maybe you guys are smarter. Oh, you guys are definitely smarter. But yeah, important thing would be taking the gear out more often, taking more pictures, and also uploading those photos too. I've been very slack with that as well. Yeah, I think I would like to stick with Lumix, even though the lenses are a little bit boring, but that's could change anytime. Yeah, thank you for listening. Thanks for your suggestions already. Even bad advice is advice at least. So shoot whatever you got. I'm listening to it. I'm commenting on it, commenting back. Cool. Now I go back to work to my 9-to-5. Adios. Oh, one add-on. I only have the S5 2X because I like the blacked out colorway. I'm not really having a need for the crazy high record settings. I tested it obviously, and I put an SD card, SSD, straight into the camera, which is super cool and a nice to have feature. I don't think I would ever rig it out that much that I could use the straight to SSD recording. If I would do some super long form interview, that would be great. I love the whole fact that you record on the SSD, plug it in the computer. That's probably the best part about this. Would not happen that often. No, that top handle thing with the enclosure, obviously, super great. Like if I was a working professional, that would be not even a consideration. The S5 IIX would be my choice there. But yeah, I don't think I would need it. I could also go for the original S5 II, which is not crazy expensive secondhand around here. But that would maybe be $200. I would save $200, $200-300. Yeah, not a huge deal, unfortunately. I mean, 200 generally could get me a cheap M-mount lens, which obviously are options too. I can't get the Summicron back, which would be a smart thing to do as well. Even though, like I said, the Summicron, no, I'm not gonna get into that. It looks a little bit weird on the S9, but that's just me being weird. I think it's super tiny pancake lens, like the color scoper, Voigtlanders, something like that. I think would be smarter for me. Like I said, if I go a small camera, I want to go small lens as well. Keep the 20-60, take the 18 to whatever. That was a cool lens. I had it on the camera. I had the option of buying it, but it was $500 more Australian. That's not worth it for a lens that's fairly shitty, even though practical. But yeah, again, what's the point of having a full frame camera with a super slow aperture? I don't know. It's like, what are you gonna do? Maybe I should think about APS-C more and stop thinking about full frame. But also, nothing too interesting there. But yeah, still hope for any recommendations going down the Fuji route again. One professional camera, one non-professional camera, one really fun camera, and one really professional camera for those off jobs I get.